Okay, hello everyone. Just before I start, I hope you like orange, because you're about to see a lot of orange. So the people in the front row, if you've got your sunglasses, yeah, just do that. Okay, so that's me. I'm head of digital experience at easyJet. So what does that mean? I look after all of the customer-facing digital channels, so that's easyjet.com, and also our native apps on iOS and Android. Now that's a role I've had for the last 18 months. Prior to that, I was the mobile app lead for some 4 to 5 years. And today, I'm here to talk about our revolutionary new app feature. It's been out there for about a year. Not many people know about it, so I'm going to enlighten you today. So let me take you on a journey. So I like Instagram. I also like holidays. So ultimately, what ends up happening is I go on these holidays, I take some nice photos of me enjoying myself, and I post them up on Instagram. Now, I don't think I'm alone, so I'm going to just survey the room here. Put your hands up if you have Instagram. Yay, look at that. Right, put your hands up if you have ever posted a holiday photo on Instagram. There we go. Also put your hands up if you have seen a photo on Instagram that's made you feel really envious, fear of missing out, friends, celebrities, family, and you're going, wow, they're on an amazing holiday, an amazing trip. Again, quite a few of you put your hands up there. One step further, have you then thought, oh, I want to know where that is. I want to know how I can get there. Anyone? Yeah, a couple? Great. Well, that's exactly what we were seeing in the market. We saw lots of people on Instagram browsing, endlessly scrolling, and then going, well, how do I convert that into reality? How will I move that from looking status into booking status? Instagram themselves were all over this, and basically lots of stats here show that loads of people were really interested in booking travel. And also, you can see why, right? Through the inspiration that you can get from Instagram. They have more than 500 million daily users. So there's an infinite amount of really nice, engaging, rich imagery that people get inspired by. And then with a traveler's customer journey, when they're interested in then searching and finding out where to book somewhere, there's a lot of time spent there. So what we've coined this phrase is collapsing the funnel. How do we reduce the amount of time where you're discovering and researching into booking? And Facebook themselves, they've now used this that phrase, collapsing the funnel, in a lot of their speeches and material going forward. And this is really important for us because we want to just help the customers get to, ultimately, their destination. So, introducing Look and Book. So, this is Instagram. You're endlessly scrolling through there. You see something you like. You may like it. And what we've done here is enabling the ability to take that screenshot and pass it into the app. So you take a screenshot, you hit the share functionality on iOS. I realize this is iOS 12, not 13. You then share it into the easyJet app. The app then takes over. You upload the image, it analyzes it, it works out where that image is, shows you on a map, shows you the nearest airport to that location, and then you can take that straight into the app booking pod, select your dates, and you can start to book a flight with us. Okay? So what you can see there is we've connected two platforms. We've connected Instagram and the easyJet app together because we was already seeing that people were doing this themselves. They were finding something on Instagram that inspired them. They were then going to Google, trying to put in descriptions and definitions to say where it is, trying to work out then the nearest airport to that location, then trying to work out what airlines serve that destination, and then they may go on Skyscanner or Kayak or Last Minute and build it all together. But ultimately, that's quite painful, and there's a lot of friction in place in doing that. So we were pushing Instagram quite a lot and saying, when are you going to open up travel? And we weren't really getting any responses back, so we went and did it ourselves. Now, we launched this back in autumn last year, We went big in terms of out-of-home display advertising because we wanted to make people aware of this new feature. And it still does have a barrier, don't get me wrong. There is that understanding that there's that share option within the easyJet, within the share sheet, and enabling that so that you can use it for the first time. But it isn't limited strictly to Instagram. It will work with other images. So if it's on Pinterest or Facebook, or even if someone sends you a photo, you can use that as well. We also now use it in all of our marketing campaigns, so it becomes a call to action. So we've done lots of takeovers on our own channels, obviously our social channels and so forth, but it's become a call to action that features on any of our schedule releases and our sales and our promotions, because it's just that way of reminding our user base that they can use photos to start discovery. Now you're going to ask, where did it all start? Well, ultimately, I'd love to say that it was an original idea, but we were seeing what was going on in the market. The likes of ASOS, a clothes retailer, really big in the UK, they had visual search where you could point your camera at hats, jumpers, trainers, jeans, and it would match it against their catalogue. And you can understand that will work really well because actually those sorts of objects and items are really easy to identify. And also Amazon were doing it around barcodes and products with their feature in their app, but no one had attempted to do it in travel, so we did. But really, it came from one of our agencies called VCCP, and a lady who was working there, Alex, she went on some sort of nice yoga retreat, sipping juices and doing all sorts, relaxing in time. And then her friends were obviously stalking her, as they do on Instagram, and going, where are you? That looks really nice. And there was one specific comment that then really provoked Alex to get in touch with me. And it said, I've looked up dates and costs and everything. I am so keen. And that was like, well, people are doing it themselves. They're manually doing all of this additional research, but let's just make that easier. So that's how it was initially born. Now, I'm going to attempt to do a live demo. Risky, but we'll go with it. If I plug in here. And are they going to cut over the video? Yes, they are. Cool. Right. So where do I start? Obviously, I start on Instagram. OK, so you could be endlessly scrolling for anything. I like Lucky Trip. If you haven't heard of Lucky Trip, go suss them out. They're a really great inspiration company out there. And you endlessly kind of scroll through, and you find something you like the look of, and you go, OK, that's cool. I want to get there. Ultimately, all you're doing then is hitting the screenshot. That goes down into the iOS share sheet. You click that. You've got it there. You then hit share. Now, on the first time of doing this, you may not see the easyJet app there, but that's all it's a case of going into more, enabling it there, and then it will be there for every subsequent use. You then click the easyJet app. It says you're going to pass this image into Look and Book. You share it. We're finding your destination. Great. Click it there. It uploads. Now, this is the slowest bit in terms of Wi-Fi or data. It then analyzes it, and then it searches. And the search bit is then mapping out where that destination is, matching it against our easyJet airports and our flights. Done. Great. So it's found it. Cool. That's where the photo was taken. There's the nearest airport that easyJet operate to. Start booking. Populates Naples. And then I can put in the nearest airport to here, and away I go. Now, you're probably going to ask, how does that all work? What's all the technology behind that, and how's it working? Well, we're using and utilizing a lot of Microsoft Azure services behind the scenes, but ultimately, in an Instagram screenshot, there are three data queues available. You've got the geolocation, the tag at the top. Obviously, that helps massively, but that isn't the only thing we use. Then the other bit then is the middle bit, the imagery, right? The imagery is matched against a massive Azure image database. So whether it's recognizable images such as bridges and museums and churches and cathedrals, there is a huge amount of images that have been submitted to this catalog over the years. And Microsoft are able to send us back responses and match that for us. And also, customers put a lot of clues in descriptions. They put hashtags and all sorts of descriptive text in there, which again helps the matching set there to give us confidence in what we're going to replay back. But as I said, it's not limited to Instagram. You can actually use other sources. And even in our booking pod there, we have the Look and Book button there, where then it will access your gallery. And you can pass in an image there as well. Right, jump back to the presentation. Great. So, how have we done? Well, when we launched it back in autumn last year, we went big with the PR, and we picked up over 1,000 different clippings from the media. And they talk about it as travel for the Instagram generation and also the Shazam of travel, which is really kind of cool. But what's more important for us is, does it actually get used? Are we actually seeing customers start to use this as a new way of search? Absolutely. So, people actually started to use it. And the techie guys who built the service then built this nice little dashboard showing where people were taking screenshots and where they were then matching them to. So since the 1st of October 2018, we have had over 40,000 photo matches. And what we mean by a match is an exact match or a partial match, because we do this confidence rating. So it's really important that the response never came back and said, sorry, no, we don't know where that is. Now, if they submitted something like a beach destination or a city or a ski break, we would then match that with recommendations as well. That has led to over 2,500 direct incremental bookings for easyJet. So this is actually a really significant thing. And if I look at that against the market average of travel, the travel conversion is around 1.5%. We're getting around 6%. So that just shows how well this is actually performing as a way in to start booking with easyJet. Now, how did we make it happen? Well, we kept the stakeholder management around this really stripped back, really streamlined, and just had a few key individuals. And that meant that we just had about 3 or 4 people on the agency side building out the web services at a company called VCCP. We had about 4 key people at our mobile app development company in Dublin, Ireland, called Travelport Digital. And then there was a team at Luton in the UK, easyJet headquarters, and there was about 4 or 5 of us there. And we worked really closely together, loads of regular engagement. One of the most important things, and one of the biggest recommendations that I'd always have, is at any opportunity, build out a prototype. Once you see something working and you're playing with it actively in the palm of your hand, it is the best selling tool to get engagement from people who may have doubts. So we took that up then to my manager and then a director and said, look what we can do here. Some people couldn't believe that we could do it, and by having that prototype, it really unlocked the way forward. Then also, we took a leap. Hands up, I was skeptical. I was skeptical, one, that we had the technology and the right data that would make it work and it would come back with valuable, accurate results. And 2, that customers would actually use it. However, based on keeping it streamlined and going for kind of a proof of concept trial mentality, we didn't spend loads of money on it, but we gave it a punt and we went for it. So we've evolved it. This summer, we launched it in additional markets, so it's now available in France, Germany, Switzerland, and Italy, and in those languages too. And we've also launched it on the Android platform as well. Initially, we did only go out on iOS and English. And for 2020, we've got more campaigns in the pipeline, wondering at how we can then put it into other channels and get further exposure and reach for it. But what's really coming next? Well, we're in active discussions with Instagram, how that they can then unlock travel for us. So we went to the Travel Summit in Dublin last year, and then they spoke that travel on Instagram was around 12 months away. Now we're probably looking at Q1 of next year where they'll truly unlock it. At the moment, Instagram checkout experiences are purely around simple retail and fashion, and that's because it's a little bit simple, because in terms of picking shoes or a t-shirt, picking the size, your delivery address, and paying now is a lot easier than kind of the myriad of systems and bespoke rules and things you have to do for travel. So with travel, it's like seats and bags, passenger names and so forth, the sheer amount of content in terms of the different airports, the different amount of flights during a day. So we've got to figure all that out and keep it really stream and slick. So we're working with Instagram on what that could look like, and that's kind of an early idea there. But you're probably going to ask, why are we doing this? Why are we bothering to push the limits on this? Well, for me, it's about making discovery easier and about removing friction. Because this is about bring fun back to the experience again, because there is so much choice out there, so much content available. How do we start making that early part of discovery and inspiration fun again? And this links back to the ambition for our app, our mobile app, and our strategy is that our ambition has always been to deliver the most intuitive user experience possible at every step of the traveler's journey. And that means making it seamless, easy, and fun to use. Now, easyJet does have a really long-standing history when it comes to innovation, and it's something we are really rigorous with the team that look after mobile is around making things simple. And so whether it's check-in all. Now, previously, when you used to check in on the app and you needed to download a boarding pass, you would have to tap each time for each passenger and each flight, which meant if you were saying have 2 passengers on 2 flights, that was a minimum of kind of 8 taps. It's just far too many. Now we have a one-tap solution. When it came to keeping our passengers updated, we had a system called Live Updates. This is custom bespoke updates from our Operation Control Center specific to the flight in question you're on. We then supplemented that with an integration with Flight Radar 24 so that people could visibly see where their aircraft is. We then do things like voice commands with using Siri shortcuts. We completely changed our route map interface. Instead of layering in where the airports are and showing that on a map, we changed that to have visual imagery, and the increase in conversion on that was significant. We've played around with ARKit, so you can now size your cabin bag at home. You don't have to wait to the airport to see if it fits in a gauge and whether it's going to fit in the overhead lockers. You can now do that at home using ARKit, and then that will size it both for the overhead lockers and under the seat in front of you. Passport scanning, still one of our most loved and most used tools. So we very much think about mobile differently to the web. On web, you've got a keyboard, so you can type in. When it comes to the app and you need to type in all of this data, that's painful. Loads of finger trouble there. If you can use the camera phone to just scan your passport and it does all the hard work for you, no wonder why all our customers love that. Yeah, and that's why the reason that so many people do love our app. So, next slide. So I'm now just going to play you through a video which talks you through the kind of all of the experiences that are going on the mobile app.
Got my eye on the dance floor, eye on the door. Eye on the dance floor, eye on the door. Eye on the dance floor, eye on the door. Eye on the dance floor, eye on the door. Hey, a DJ, you like the way I sway? And I gotta get it my way. I'm gonna stay, I'm gonna bump it till it breaks. I got the movement and the attitude. I got something you could do. You could put my record on. You could play my favorite song, the one where the bass goes boom, 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 ba-dum. I got my eye on the dance floor, eye on the door. Eye on the dance floor, eye on the door. Eye on the dance floor, eye on the door. Eye on the dance floor, eye on the door. Eye on the dance floor, whoa, whoa. Eye on the door, whoa, 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 whoa. Eye on the dance floor, whoa, 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 whoa. Eye on the door, whoa. You could put my record on. You could put my record on.
And this bit here is where we announce the new feature.
Manchester to Barcelona for one adult, going out on the 14th of October, returning on the 19th of October.
The one where the bass goes boom, 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 ba-dum. The one where the bass goes boom, 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 ba-dum. The one where the bass goes boom, 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 ba-dum.
So what I should have mentioned there is that video was used at the start of September at the World Aviation Festival in London. We were asked to come along for a Battle of the Airline Apps competition. We were pitched up against the likes of Emirates, KLM, United, and Turkish. That was the video that we used in the pitch, and we emerged victorious. They basically scored us based on a few categories of booking, post-booking, ancillaries, passenger information, disruption, and overall UX. And yeah, we came out top, which is really great. Now, one of the features that we announced there then, which we're in final stages of testing, and we're hopefully getting out live next week, is voice search. So that's a new feature. So that's a new way, again, to come into search. So when we've gone visual, we're now doing voice. And what's really good about that is, again, it's removing friction, and it's making it simple. So as where before, where you'd need to fill out that booking pod, and that would probably be around 12 different taps and interactions and take about 15 seconds. We've now taken that down just to one tap and about 3 seconds. But it's also really good for a key segment of our market. Now, easyJet fly more than 450,000 passengers every year who have some form of special assistance. And we have a really massive user base on our app who have visual impairments. So utilizing those interactions and those experiences like voice search is really going to empower those users as well. So that's everything I've got time for today. If you've got any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay.